Hello, this is a demonstration of the Smart Tagger tool, which will help you save about 80 to 90% of the time that you spend on tagging things and plan views. All right, so first thing to start off with, we have two versions of the plugin. One which comes with this warning, which is slightly faster to access because it's going to be here in the add-ins part of your Revit ribbon. And then we also have a Dynamo package, which takes a little bit longer to access, maybe like 30 seconds of Dynamo loading, but it comes without this warning. So we have two options for you. So let's say you go with this option, you would just do load once here or load always, which will hide that warning in the future. And I'll just open up a sample project here. And then I'll just show you real quick how to access it. You go here, external tools, Smart Tagger, and you'll see we have a bunch of settings. We got the instructions here. We'll just run the Smart Tagger just to show you what it does real quick. Okay, so you can see what we did here. We tagged all these walls, all these windows, all these doors, and I guess I have the wrong tag setting here for the door, so I'll show you a quick example of how you would adjust that. We would just load it up again. We could configure tag settings, go to standard doors, change orientation to be a long wall with no office set, apply changes, okay, apply and close, and then let's retag tagged elements when we run the smart tagger. Okay, and bam, just like that, super easy. And I guess since we tagged them with the leader originally turned on, it left them on for some reason. Okay. Now I'll show you what happens when you try to do it the normal way, just in case you're not familiar with that process. So normally you would go here and you would tag each wall one by one. Don't know which way it's going, it's not even. You would tag these windows one by one, these doors. Then you'd have to, if you wanted to have something similar to what we had, you would change each one like this, rotate it. It takes forever, it's not very accurate. Um, the other thing you can do is you can do the tag all untagged button, which is part of Revit. So let's say we did walls, windows, and doors. Let's say we wanted a leader here. Actually, let's turn it off for this example. Apply. Okay. And so to get it to what we had, you'd have to adjust these ones one by one. You have to adjust all these wall tags one by one, turn on the leader, put it in the right position, try to line things up manually, which is a pain and not very accurate. And then you'd have to repeat this whole process across every single view. So then you'd have to do what we just did here and here. So you can see how this plugin will save you about 80 to 90% of the time once you have the correct settings set up. And so now I'll just show you how to access the same thing in Dynamo for those of you who don't want to see that warning in the beginning. And that warning would just pop up the very first time if you select always turn off this warning or whatever that button is. But if you're more concerned about security, then the Dynamo package is the way to go. And Dynamo is built into Revit, if you're a full version of Revit. Oh, and by the way, all add-ins, they only work with the full version of Revit. So that's a requirement to have. Doesn't work on Revit LT. So we click New, And we could either go down here and go down through these folders and then just click here, or you could search for it, Smart Tagger, just click here, and it opens up the exact same thing. And it works exactly the same way with saving and loading configurations as well as saving and loading tag templates. We'll just run the Smart Tagger. Okay. And you can see it works exactly the same. Right. So now I'll show you in more detail the actual tag settings. So, or all of the settings here in the Smart Tagger. You have select elements. You can select just the families or just the types. And that'll change how they show up in the simplified menu here. Let's say we want to tag all these categories. And let's say we want to tag on the floor plans and the elevation. Oh, and due to limitations with the Revit API, which is used to make plugins, this doesn't work well with elevations because it tags things which are occluded, like things that are behind walls. So for elevations, I would suggest you go through the view one by one and do the tag all untagged command, which is part of Revit. Okay, so got these elements selected. Standard doors. Let's turn off the leader. I think that's saving, and that's why we saw that leader there. So we'll do apply changes here. Say for Windows, just for example, let's do perpendicular to wall. We'll do it based off direction and then left. So all windows are going to be 0.25 inches to the left of their original tag. We can change this so it could be 0.5 inches. Okay, apply changes. Okay, walls. Let's do, for example, a long wall offset type. Uh, we have wall direction here and face direction, and face direction does direction relative to wall host, but since we're applying this to a wall, it does external, internal pretty much. But let's just say all external walls for horizontal walls and vertical walls by 0.5 inches with a leader turned on. We can apply changes and that saves it here. Or let's actually make a duplicate, standard walls copy. Okay, let's do perpendicular to walls just for example. Uh, and we'll apply these changes. Okay, and then what's important to do if you do that is to go here, standard walls copy. And then for room tags, we got standard. Let's make a new template just to show you how that works. You got regular mode and wall-based mode. Wall-based mode works on wall-hosted elements and it includes those settings like wall-based and stuff, and then regular works on all elements. And so this one's called new template. Use offset. And you only got the up, down, left, right since it's not wall-based, but we could make it wall-based, but then we wouldn't be able to load it here. All right, we'll apply these changes, and then I'll show you an example of saving. So we can save these new ones we just made. Save selected. Yes, overwrite. Okay. And then you can also load templates. And this works across projects and it also works across instances of Revit. And you can delete them. You could select all, clear, load, cancel. All right. Apply and close. Then we'll just do this, for example, just tag doors and windows on these three views, and we'll retag tagged elements. So these tags will get retagged with the new settings. And we can also save this configuration. So if we call this BBB, save, then even if we change things here, what happens is we could just load a configuration, BBB, load, and it'll give you a configuration load report, which is useful if you're transferring templates across different projects, which might have different elements to tag or different names for the views. And so that's the if you for example had a different name for level one, like let's say it was level 01 in the project you were trying to load into, it wouldn't load, but you'd be able to see that in this configuration report. Okay, and run Smart Tagger. Okay, and you can see how it's tagging things according to our settings. If you're interested in this, contact us. We can make a customized version of this program for you if you'd like it adjusted to your specific standards. And after you buy this, we'll also be coming out with other plugins, so stay tuned.